Dropping the criminal charges against Mangum definitely would not be precedent-setting, as charges throughout the state, and especially in Durham County, have been dismissed recently. Specifically, charges against Stephanie Nickerson, Michael Dorman, Stephen Levance Oates, Shilda Evelyn Harris, and Sheila Moses, and Eric Daniels. Late in October 2012, 25-year-old Navy veteran Stephanie Nickerson was at a friend's house when Durham police arrived on a noise complaint. When the police wanted to enter the house, Miss Nickerson advised the homeowner that she did not have to allow the police in without a search warrant. This prompted the police officer to grab Nickerson's wrists to place them behind her to make an arrest. When she jerked her hands away, the officer threw her to the ground and began punching her in the face. Nickerson sustained a broken nose, black eye, and swollen lips as a result of the beating, and was charged with resisting arrest and assault on a police officer. These charges, of course, were without probable cause, and they were subsequently dropped a short time later by the Durham District Attorney's Office. In August 2011, Durham County Superior Court Judge Orlando Hudson dismissed a murder charge against Michael Dorman. Prosecutors claimed Dorman inadvertently killed a woman he was attempting to rape. When apprehended years later, he had her bones in his backpack. In his order, Judge Hudson stated that defendant Dorman was unable to receive a fair trial because of the destruction of important evidence. The woman's skeletal remains had been released to the victim's family and were cremated. It is interesting to note that Judge Hudson accused the Durham County District Attorney's Office, the Durham Police Department, and the State Medical Examiner's Office of conspiring to destroy evidence and violate Dorman's right to a fair trial. These are the same claims made by the Committee on Justice for Mike Nifong in Mangum's current murder charge. Specifically, that the Durham County District Attorney's Office, the Durham Police Department, and the State Medical Examiner's Office conspired in producing a trumped-up autopsy report on Reginald Day. Around February 22, 2013, Durham prosecutors dropped the murder charge against Stephen Levance Oates in the 2008 death of Duke graduate student Abhijit Mahato. The Durham prosecutor, in his order requesting the dismissal, stated that the state had been unable to locate a key witness and that it had, quote, no other available and admissible evidence, unquote. Oates' attorney, Mark Edwards, had been lobbying for more than a year to have the case thrown out. Mr. Edwards stated that the Oates case illustrates a, quote, troubling pattern in the Durham Police Department, unquote. He could have easily gone further with the inclusion in that pattern of the post-Nifong Durham District Attorney's Office. On June 12, 2012, Durham prosecutors dropped charges against Shilda Evelyn Harris and Sheila Moses, respectively the mother and sister of Peter Lucas Moses, Jr., a cult leader who pled guilty to murders of Antoinetta Yvonne McCoy and 5-year-old Jaden Higginbotham. The two had been held on charges of accessory after the fact of murder. No reason was given by prosecutors for their dropping the charges. In September 2000, a home invasion-style armed robbery took place in Durham, and 14-year-old Eric Daniels was convicted of the crime despite the lack of evidence and not even having the appearance of the perpetrator. Eric's hair was close cropped, and the description of the robber was that he had cornrows. The chief witness in the case picked him out of a middle school yearbook based on the shape of his eyebrows. Durham police led him out of his middle school in handcuffs. He was sentenced to 10 to 14 years. Eric Daniels always maintained his innocence and even passed a lie detector test in 2003. In late 2004, Durham attorney Carlos Mahoney took up his case And despite a January 2007 denial by the North Carolina Court of Appeals, he fought on for his client. In September 2008, Durham prosecutors, knowing that they had a weak case against him, offered him an offered plea deal in exchange for his immediate release from custody with 7 years of time served. Had Eric Daniels accepted the plea deal, he would have been forever labeled a felon with an armed robbery conviction. He declined, placing his faith in attorney Mahoney. During 2 days of a September 2008 hearing in which Mahoney sought a new trial for his client, the evidence he presented before Superior Court Judge Orlando Hudson was so strong and convincing that the black rober took the initiative of dropping the felony charge and declaring Daniels innocent. Judge Hudson specifically stated, quote, "I would order a new trial if I were satisfied that this defendant committed this crime and the state could prove it. I have no confidence the defendant committed these charges," unquote. North Carolina Governor Bev Perdue denied Eric Daniels' petition for a pardon of innocence, thereby preventing him from receiving compensation as mandated by legislation for his more than 7 years of wrongful incarceration. There are other examples I could recite where baseless and reckless charges resulted in many months and years of wrongful incarceration of innocents. But that would be superfluous. The charges against Crystal Mangum are baseless, bogus, and vendetta-driven. Both charges she now faces are without merit, and they are malicious and a waste of taxpayer dollars. The prosecution should have dropped charges against her, or a judge dismissed them long ago. Now that Miss Mangum is out on bond, the prosecutors are without their bargaining chip needed to help secure a plea deal. Although neither charge is supported by probable cause and both are deserving to be dismissed, the larceny of chosen action is most egregious and was obviously utilized with malice in the state's sadistic plot to saddle Crystal Mangum with a life sentence. One thing you can rest assured of: these criminally cruel antics would not be taking place if Mike Nifong was still the Durham County District Attorney.